We got a diamond chain prize right here. Good job. Give it up, everybody.
500 kids, one circle, and a prize sitting in the middle that nobody in Cleveland saw coming. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just running drills today, he was watching, waiting, letting the competition build group by group until only one team was left standing. And when it came time to hand over what they'd all been playing for, he didn't just hand it over. He got down on their level, camera rolling, and made sure one random kid walked away with a diamond chain he'll probably never take off. But here's what nobody's talking about, the moment right after the chain came out of the box, because Shedeur's reaction to that kid's face, that's the part that's about to break the internet.
So right here, we got a diamond chain prize right here. We're giving this away. So this is what we plan here. We plan for this right here. Knees, shoulders, toes, head, knees, play. Good job, man. Good job. Good job. Give it up, everybody. Where the winner at? Where the winners at? Let's give it up for the winners. Open that. Turn it down. Hey, make sure I get the...
All right, let's talk about what actually happened in Cleveland today, because if you saw the clips floating around, you already know something felt different about this one. We've watched Shedeur Sanders get put through the ringer all offseason, every practice rep dissected, every coach's comment turned into a headline, every quiet moment on the sideline treated like it's evidence of something. That's the world he's living in right now. Everything he does gets a microscope pointed at it. So when he decided to spend a day away from all of that, no film session, no press conference, no reporters trying to bait him into a quote, and instead showed up to run a youth camp with 500 kids, that's the story that actually matters, and it's the one nobody's covering the right way. Let's set the scene, because the details here matter. This wasn't some quick photo op appearance where a player shows up, signs a few autographs, and leaves before the sweat even shows. Shedeur was out there for hours, running stations, coaching kids through drills, getting down on one knee to talk to 8-year-olds like they were his teammates. 500 kids split into 28 groups, all competing, all trying to win. And here's the thing about competition. It reveals character, not just in the kids, in the adult running the show. Because Shedeur didn't treat this like a formality. Watch how he handled the group activities. Watch how seriously he took the shoulders, knees, toes game with a bunch of grade schoolers. He wasn't performing for the cameras. He told the kids straight up, "I'm going to take this very seriously." And he meant it. That's the difference between an athlete who shows up because his agent told him it's good PR and an athlete who actually wants to be there. Now, here's where it gets interesting. As the day built toward its climax, all 28 groups were competing for one thing, one prize, sitting in the middle of that circle, wrapped up, waiting. And when they finally revealed what it was, a diamond chain, not a signed jersey, not a gift card, a literal diamond chain, the kind you'd expect a locker room veteran to be gifting a rookie, not something you'd see handed to a random kid at a Tuesday afternoon camp. Think about that for a second. This is a guy who is fighting for a starting job, a guy whose every dollar and every decision gets picked apart by draft analysts and TV panels, and he's out here spending real money, real diamonds on a kid he'd never met before that morning. That's not a marketing move. Marketing teams don't approve budgets like that for a random Tuesday camp. That's personal. And when the winning group was finally announced, when that chain came out of the box and got placed around a kid's neck for the first time, the reaction on that kid's face is the kind of thing you can't fake and you can't coach. Pure shock, pure disbelief, the kind of moment that kid is going to remember for the rest of his life. The day Shedeur Sanders put a diamond chain around his neck in front of 500 of his peers.
Can I see that Marcus on Shedeur because I'm not sure?
Thank you.
Nice.
It's cold. There you go.
What you got? Open it the other way. Go Browns! Thank you.
Look at the teamwork that it took for us to all come here and be able to get this done. And I'm truly happy, I'm truly amazed by it. And just one thought,
came to life, and that's what, I just stand for.
What do you think of the kid's reaction?
Shedeur's response to it, just as telling. He wasn't posing for the camera angle. He was locked in on the kid's reaction, making sure everyone got a good look at that moment, asking the crew to check the camera angle so they'd capture it right, because he knew this wasn't about him. This was about that kid. And then there's the moment after, when Shedeur actually talked about what the day meant to him. He said it took real teamwork to pull this off, that he was genuinely amazed by how it all came together, and that this camp, these community, these kids is what he actually stands for. Let that sink in for a second. In a league where players are constantly told to protect the brand, guard the image, never say too much, Shedeur said the quiet part out loud. This is what he stands for. Not the contract numbers, not the depth chart. This. Now, here's where the story gets a little more layered, because you know how this works. The second footage like this hits the internet, the narratives start splitting. One side is going to say this is exactly who Shedeur Sanders is, a guy who, underneath all the scrutiny and all the noise about his draft stock and his attitude and his fit in Cleveland, actually cares about giving back in a real, tangible way. Not a check written by a foundation, not a statement released by a PR team, a literal chain around a kid's neck put there by his own hands. The other side is going to say this changes nothing about what happens on Sundays, that being good with kids at a camp doesn't translate to reading NFL defenses, that the football world runs on production, not personality, and no amount of goodwill buys you snaps if you can't perform when the lights come on. Both of those things can be true at the same time. That's the reality of pro sports. But what you can't argue with is what that camera caught today. A young quarterback under more pressure than almost anyone else in this league, choosing to spend his one day off making memories for kids who have no idea what it's like to be him. And maybe that's exactly why he does it. Maybe stepping into that circle, surrounded by 500 kids who just want to have fun and play games, is the one place where none of the outside noise can reach him. No coaches grading his footwork, no analysts breaking down his release, just a group of kids doing the shoulders, knees, toes dance and losing their minds over a diamond chain. There's something almost poetic about that. The one place Shedeur Sanders gets to just be Shedeur, not the prospect, not the storyline, not the guy every talking head has an opinion about, is standing in the middle of a youth camp in Cleveland, handing a kid the surprise of his life. So here's the real question. Was this just a feel-good moment that'll get buried under next week's news cycle? Or is this the kind of thing that actually tells you more about who Shedeur Sanders is than any snap count or preseason stat line ever could? Because from where we're sitting, the way a guy treats people who can't do anything for him, kids who can't get him a starting job, can't get him endorsements, can't get him anything at all, that says more than any highlight reel. Drop your take in the comments. Does a moment like this change how you see Shedeur Sanders? Or in a league built on results, does none of it matter once the season starts? Either way, that kid is never taking that chain off. And neither is the story.